who are the masters when it comes to automotive luxury today? Is it still the old school, infamous European brands, Porsche, Mercedes, Benz, Audi? Perhaps it's Japanese or Korean, or maybe there is a new kid in town. What is EV luxury? Well, this Chinese brand has had a very, very good go at it. Welcome to EV.com. For me, proper design is about knowing when to add, but also knowing when not to add. Sometimes more is not more. We want to be understated but distinctive at the same time. It is for this reason, while I do like some of BYD's designs, I would not say they are very elegant. Let me know if you agree with that or not in the comments. This NIO ES8, on the other hand, I mean, well, just look at it. I defy you to tell me a better looking pure electric SUV. In fact, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Shark nose, double dash headlights, huge 22-inch wheels. It's a big boy, 5.28 meters long and 1.8 meters tall, but we still get a respectable drag coefficient of 0.259, which for an SUV of this size is not bad at all. But while we are here busy talking about the look, I forgot to mention the practicality that this thing has. That's right, a more than 200-litre frunk. Get a load of that, German luxury brands. So in the second row of the ES8, and this is definitely the place to be if you want the maximum luxury experience. And I've started to think this car is actually an MPV disguised as an SUV. I mean, look at the space in here. We're talking headroom, we're talking legroom, we're talking about any type of room you could possibly need. And we also have zero gravity seats in the front and this seat here in the back. This is the best place to be if you want the most luxurious vehicle experience you could possibly think of. So what is zero gravity mode? Well, let me initiate it while I talk about it. So it's just a one push of a button, and I've been told this works for people who are 2 meters tall. Luckily at EV.com we do have someone who fits that description. So as you can see, it's place my body into a perfect position for relaxation. I have to remember that I'm sitting in the back of a car right now. So now I'm in my zero gravity mode. What am I supposed to do? Well, of course you could take a nap, you could have a massage on the seat, or you could watch something on the 21.4-inch fold down display here and listen to it. 8.1.4.2 surround sound system. That 0.2 at the end, by the way, is this sound bar just in front of the screen here. So a cinema experience in the back of your car. That has to be luxury, right? So how about this for luxury? Maximum privacy mode, when you want to get away from it all or just have your own little bit of peace and quiet. When I activate this, the sun blinds will all close and the rear windows, that's the second and third rows, will actually darken so they will have a deep tint. So wherever you might be, you can find your little bit of peace and quiet. When we talk about luxury, surely this means luxury for everyone, regardless of where you are sitting. So despite being way in the back here, where usually I would just flat out refuse to sit, I actually have a good amount of space. If you look here, my headroom, okay, it's probably a little bit tight, but I am a very tall person, so for most people this would actually be fine. The space in here is actually better than the second row in most sedans. Traditionally, the back row is reserved for the kids or perhaps the unlucky adults. I mean, look at the new 6-seater Model Y, for example, but it doesn't have to be that way. NIO says equality for all passengers, regardless of where you are sitting, or as close to equality as you can get. So being in the back here, I actually have reclinable seats, I have rake adjustments, I even have heated seats. Kids these days don't know how lucky they have it. So it's no use being able to sit 6 people unless you have the luggage space to match. So if we look in the back of the ES8, so as we open the trunk here, the air suspension will drop at the back to make loading easier. So we have 100 millimeters of adjustment there. In the back here, we have 547 liters of space. 132 of that is actually underneath the floor here. So plenty of storage. Of course, these last row seats can be adjusted and folded down with the touch of a button over here, but it's still not enough space. So back at the front, and we have one of the biggest frunks you will see on the market today. But how do we get into here? So we can give it a knock if we want to. We can push the logo here, or we can just talk to the car. Hi, Normie. 打开前备箱. And you will notice that as this is opening, the front air suspension actually drops to improve your loading position, to make it easier to put stuff into the front here. So while the space is not perfectly square, we do have 230 liters of storage in here. That is a massive amount. That's almost as big as some trunks you find in some smaller vehicles. So totally, if we have 6 people sitting in this car, we still have 770 liters of storage space, which should be enough for your luggage, meaning you won't have to put anything in the aisle or have a stinky bag between you. Now that's got to be luxury, right? So how should it feel to drive luxury today? How should a luxury electric vehicle feel? Of course, you want the comfort, but at the same time, you want to know your vehicle has the performance if you should need it. So let's talk comfort first. NIO ES8. Dual chamber air springs, front and rear 5-link suspension, and front suspension with virtual kingpin. All I can say is that the ride we get in this car is very smooth for both the passenger and the driver. So this being kind of more geared towards a kind of MPV type audience, in my opinion, I think you'll be driving this more smoothly, more elegantly, more just gracefully driving around the streets. But at the same time, NIO have definitely improved the responsiveness of their steering. Some of their older models, including the first generation of this ES8, were a bit wallowy. They were a bit clinical and a bit kind of like driving a big boat around the streets. This one, I feel very attached. I feel the car reacts very quickly to what I want it to do. So we have comfort, we have handling. How about power? Well, we have power as well. 520 kilowatts of power, so that's 700 newton meters of torque. You might have 6 people in this vehicle, so you do need a good amount of torque to move those 6 people at a lightning quick speed. So we do have a slightly sub 4 second 0 to 100 kilometers time. But it's not just at the low speeds. This car also can provide that burst speed when you need it. So for example, if you're on the highway, maybe trying to overtake someone, you need a quick burst of acceleration. So from 80 to 120 kilometers an hour, this will do it in less than 2 seconds, which is actually very, very fast. That speed is faster than a Porsche 911 Carrera S. So make of that what you will. It's very easy to forget that you're driving a 6-seater, more than 5 meter long vehicle. It can actually be a lot of fun. So another NIO and another very well designed interior. We do kind of have a kind of minimalist, but I think more, once again, understated and lots of thoughtful touches. For example, they didn't give us the biggest central infotainment system screen. Rather, they gave us one which is a good size and doesn't overwhelm the cabin. Also, this is OLED, so this is very, very high definition. So while the screen in the back might be bigger, this one is definitely clearer. So if you don't agree with the guys in the back, their movie taste or whatever, you can watch something yourself here. We also have an infotainment panel here which stretches the width of the vehicle and has some of our key kind of drivers information, as well as things like the weather or entertainment or whatever else you'd like to put on there. It's very easy to just slap a screen on after the fact, but actually integrating something into the dashboard is a sign of thoughtful design. We've seen it in a few different cars before, and here again, once again, I really like it. It doesn't overwhelm your vision, and at the same time, it's integrated into the air conditioner unit. We have Napa leather as well as very nicely kind of embroidered seats here. We have our cup holders, we have our dual wireless charging pads, we have storage, and we have charging galore here. We have lots of very thoughtful touches throughout the interior experience of this vehicle. Just one example I give you is that when I go to open my door here, this corner part of the screen becomes a rear preview so I can see what's coming up behind. And when I open my door, I don't open it onto a cyclist's face. That's got to be luxury for someone, right? So we only have a single battery option in the ES8, which is 102 kilowatt hours. And this is good for 635 kilometers of CLTC range and a quoted efficiency of 16.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is actually very good for a car of this size. But is it true? Well, we're going to find out a little bit later the efficiency we've got on our test drive today, so make sure you keep watching. We talked about elegance and we talked about convenience and we talked about comfort. So how about safety? Well, let's talk about safety, but I'm not going to talk about chassis. I'm not going to talk about all-wheel drive. I'm not going to talk about airbags. I'm going to talk about lights. Yes, you heard correctly, lights. And I know what you're thinking, yeah, lights are a great safety feature. They help you see in the dark. That is true, but these lights in the ES8 do so much more. So while the lights in the ES8, of course, they shine in the dark and they are very bright, they're actually able to be manipulated to create a light carpet. So it actually blocks out light and highlights light where you need it. So creating a light road on the road ahead to ensure you follow the road correctly while not blinding those who are driving past you on the other side. Wouldn't that be a nice function to have? It could also mean letting you know a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front. Also, if you are going to change lanes, it can actually highlight the lane you're going to change into to let people know you're coming across, as well as making it easier for you to see where you are going. So that's not all. While it can actually block off some of its light, it can actually highlight things in the darkness to bring them to your attention. So this is why I say the lights in here are a key safety feature. They do so much more than just light up the road. They become an active safety feature, helping you to get to your destination, protecting you and protecting those on the road around you. Now that sounds like a bright idea. So after a couple of hours of driving around 40 kilometers, we actually got an efficiency of 16.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is actually not bad at all. Do we have a new definition for what luxury means in the age of EVs? Well, the NIO ES8 definitely gives it a very good go. We have elegance, we have comfort, we have convenience, we have safety. For me, it's a winner, but what do you think? Make sure you let us know what you think about the NIO ES8 in the comments below. Do you think it is missing any key luxury elements? For example, last time on the Zeekr 7X we had electric doors. This doesn't have any. Does that matter? If you like the content, be sure to give us a like and a subscribe. I'll see you next time.